I'm Jordan Lulich, and this is the Lulich Corner, and today I've got the opportunity to sit down with Attorney Elle Nichols, who's a personal injury attorney. So first off, Elle, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and talk a little bit about personal injury. And this is such an important topic because so many people don't know about this area. So I'm so excited just to talk about some of the need-to-knows in this area.
Well, thank you, Jordan. I'd like to thank you for having me on your podcast, and I appreciate the opportunity to share this important information. This is a great opportunity because in the courtroom, we're actually prohibited from telling people about a lot of this. So listen up. This is your chance to know.
Tune in. So one of the most common things that I hear is when people are injured in an accident, there's this reluctancy to report the accident to their insurance companies. And the reluctancy comes from a concern that their insurance is going to increase. So what should somebody do when they're injured in an accident? What should those first steps be? And what are your thoughts about that hesitation that people have in reporting the accident to their insurance company?
First of all, it's illegal for an insurance company to raise your rates because you were in an accident and were not at fault. If you were not at fault, it is illegal for them to raise your rates or cancel you. So don't be afraid to report it.
That's gold right there.
Absolutely. But I've seen them do it, and they try. Insurance companies try to get away with a lot, but we don't let them. So the first thing they need to do after an accident is call the police. They need to document the accident. Actually, if you don't call the police within 10 days, you're waiving your right to get PIP. They can actually use that as a way to deny your claim. You have a duty to check on the other driver, watch what you say, and make sure you get to the ER. If you can take photos yourself. If you can't, ask the police to take photos. Get photos of the accident. Document what happened.
And if the other person, say, is a super nice person that hit you, right, and they're at fault, do you think that, you're by going against them and by filing a claim that you're attacking them personally? Or, I mean, how do you handle that? Because maybe some people just don't want to file an insurance claim against that person because they're a nice person, because they, or they might be friends, or they might know that person in some type of, more personal way.
Absolutely. And I hear this all the time. Well, I don't want to sue him because, they seem like a nice guy. Stop right there. That's exactly what they want you to think. In reality, you are not going after them as a person. They're going to sleep in the same bed at night. They're going to read the same books to their children. You are not doing any of that. What you're really doing is making a claim against their insurance. They paid for it. They have it for a reason. Use it. Don't not use somebody's insurance. This is why we buy insurance. It has absolutely nothing to do with them as a person. We can't tell you this at trial. At trial, the insurance company is going to try and make it look like, oh, you can't sue little 80-year-old Mary Smith. She's so sweet. She should be home baking cookies right now for her 18 grandkids. What they can't tell you, what we're not allowed to tell you at trial, is that we're not suing Mary Smith personally. We're actually going after her State Farm policy. And the only reason we're even having that trial is because State Farm didn't do its job by settling the case within policy limits already.
Right. Very well said. And so when we look at policies, I think people are so eager to get through these insurance applications. You've done it. I've done it. We're online. Click, click, click. Try to get the cheapest amount of coverage is what a lot of people do. And so when you look at a policy, there's really, I think, maybe 3 or 4 different aspects of a policy that I think are super important for people to be aware of and people to know about. And so the first one is you have bodily injury and you have uninsured motorist. So what's the difference between the two, and what do people need to be aware of when they are filling out that application for a new insurance policy for their vehicles? What do they need to look for, and what do they need to know when considering how much coverage they need for BI and for
Okay, this is an excellent question. I'm so glad you brought this up. It actually opens the door to a few others. So first of all, BI is bodily injury liability. You can pay for BI. What it does is it protects the other guy. If you hit somebody in an accident and you hurt them, your bodily injury liability coverage is going to cover their injuries. Then you've got underinsured or uninsured motorist insurance coverage. Not everybody gets UM in Florida, but it's an extremely important coverage to have. Everybody needs it. A lot of people don't want to pay the small extra premium for but here's what a lot of people don't realize. In Florida, there is no law requiring you to carry bodily injury liability, which means you can go bare legally. You can go out, get in an accident, cause hundreds of thousands of dollars in property damage, medical damages, etc., and not have a dime of liability insurance.
Scary.
It's legal.
That's concerning.
It is concerning. So what can you do to protect yourself? I'm going to give you a hack. Here's the best hack for the system. Number 1, get Under the law, you cannot insure yourself, which is uninsured motorist coverage, or You can't have higher than your BI limits. So if I get BI to protect myself against hitting someone in an accident for, say, $20,000, the only I can get is for $20,000. However, there's a hack, and it's called stacked and it's exactly what you need.
So this is interesting. So what is stacked versus non-stacked
Non-stacked is just straight It's where you elect to have coverage. Say you elect to have 50-100 coverage. You would have to have had 50-100 BI coverage in order to get this. But now you were smart and you decided, I'm going to get But it's non-stacked. You only have $50,000 to protect yourself or up to $100,000 to cover the entire incident for the injuries of others that might have been making a claim against your in that insurance. But with stacked, you get to pay one premium. You pay for the coverage but you get to add the coverage and multiply it by the number of other vehicles that are on the policy. So for example, if I insure 2 cars and I have 50-100 coverage and I elect to stack it, all of a sudden that $50,000 limit just turned into a $100,000 limit for me and $200,000 to apply to anyone else that's making a claim under my policy. Insurance companies love to try and get you to waive They say, oh, you don't need it.
Yep.
Actually, to reject it, you have to sign a form. They have to have the font in certain letters. Why? Because of their own bad conduct in the past. We actually had to make laws saying that you had to reject in writing. It's critical coverage. You need it. Get stacked.
It's crazy. I mean, insurance companies, they're the largest entities throughout the United States. And they're I think in dealing with them, just from a consumer standpoint, their motto is to pay nothing, or if they're going to pay something, to pay as little as possible.
That's right.
That's their strategy. But I recently, after I talked to you about this, I recently, probably 3 months ago, I went back and I looked at my coverage for my vehicles and I looked at my auto policy and I was like, you know what? Let me increase my coverages that I have, and do double your coverage or to triple your coverage. The amount that you're paying, your advice seems like it's hundreds and hundreds of dollars every month, but really to double or triple your coverage, it's only like an additional $20 or $30 a month. Like
That's right.
We're not talking about huge amounts of money. So I increased all my coverage, right? I mean, I think it's important to look at, and it's important to realize that just because you have high coverages, it doesn't mean you're spending an extra $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 a year for your insurance policies. I was under that misconception, and I went back and reviewed it, got a second quote, and was able to increase those coverages for little to nothing.
Exactly. This is a perfect example of an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. For just a few dollars more now, you can protect yourself and your family with potentially an extra $100,000 or more.
Right. So another objection or common statement that I hear from people after they're injured in accidents is that they don't have a health insurance. Mm-hmm. And that they don't want to go to a doctor because of the concern for bills. So what would you tell someone who's saying that they don't want to go seek medical treatment after an accident because they don't have any coverage to pay for their medical bills?
First, go. Get into the ER. Don't go to urgent care. Go to the ER. And how you're going to pay for it is this. You're going to take your auto insurance card with you. Did you know you could use your auto insurance card to pay for medical treatment? Absolutely. And everybody has it. You have it. If you're listening to this and you have an auto that you operate on Florida roads and you have Florida insurance, you have this coverage. It's called PIP, Personal Injury Protection. And it applies regardless. Even if you were at fault, you can still use your own PIP to pay for your auto accident. So go to the ER. and present your PIP card and let them know you were injured in an auto accident. They'll know what to do.
Is there a certain time frame that you have to go to seek medical treatment after an accident in order to have that medical coverage?
Absolutely. You have to seek medical treatment within 14 days after an accident, but don't wait that long. Here's a problem that I see all the time, and this is very common. During an accident, a lot of people experience what's called an adrenaline rush. Adrenaline or epinephrine, it's a very powerful hormone. It floods your system with the fight or flight response. The problem with this is it's so powerful, it masks pain, because the idea was to get, cavemen through the fight with a saber-toothed tiger and get them back to safety. Well, our lives aren't quite like that anymore, although it might feel like it. But it does mask pain. And so you may be immediately after an accident and think, well, I don't see any broken bones. I don't see any blood anywhere. I think I'm fine. And then 3 days later, they're in so much pain they can barely get out of bed, and they're wondering what happened. What happened is the adrenaline wore off, and now all the swelling has kicked in, and they're starting to realize.
So true.
So get to a doctor. Don't be afraid of those medical bills. PIP covers you up to $10,000 worth of treatment, and you already have it. So use it. You paid your premium. Definitely use it. It also covers lost wages. So call us. Call an attorney so we can help you make sure you're using your coverage and that you're doing it in a timely manner.
Pain or no pain, I think that's great advice. Go seek treatment. Make sure you're not injured, because you may not know of those injuries until much later on in the process. Just to wrap things up, Elle, the last question I have is, some people, when they're faced with an accident, they may not want to call an attorney because they can't afford to hire an attorney. So if someone is facing an accident, what would you tell that person as far as their fear of not being able to afford an attorney to represent them for their car accident case, or their slip and fall case, or their personal injury case?
Don't hesitate. Call us immediately. We can always work something out. But the way that it works in auto cases, we don't get anything unless we win your case. We take on 100% of the risk. And instead, we focus on the client. We focus on getting them the help they need immediately. You need help immediately. Get protection, lawyer up. You're going to need it. The insurance company loves to prey on injured people in the days after an accident. Don't let them do that. It's no cost to you to hire us. Give us a call. And as soon as you do that, you have protection. The insurance company isn't going to call and harass you anymore. And worse, you could even make a statement that could hurt your interest later. So we don't recover anything unless we win your case, and the fee that we take is reasonable. It's the same fee that has been blessed by the Florida Supreme Court, so that you know that it's within reason.
Elle, how can people contact you for more information?
Give Lulich a call today, 772-589-5500. Ask for Elle. I'm here to help you.
All right. Attorney Elle Nichols, personal injury attorney with Lulich Attorneys. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Jordan Lulich, and this is the Lulich Corner, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.